The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What's up? It's time for Cowboys StoryLine. I'm Nick Eatman here. It's Wednesday, December 13th. We're back on the air. Missed the shows yesterday. We missed you guys. Hopefully you guys missed us as well. And you guys are back ready to go here. We got the Cowboys and Buffalo Bills to talk about and anything else you want to discuss in the world of the NFL and the Cowboys, wrestling, whatever you got. It's all good. Not that I really keep up with wrestling anymore. I'm kind of more old school stuff, so I don't really keep up with the current stuff, but that's okay. 888-855-2297 is the number to call. You can text at 817-290-3298. As I said, we were out yesterday at a big group outing doing some volunteer work for the Salvation Army. It was a lot of fun over there and being able to help out, put things in perspective, of course. We try to do that every year, and so it just worked out that way where a couple of things going on. We couldn't really do a full slate of shows, so if you can't do a full slate, can't really do any. But it was definitely good to be back. Good to be back with you guys. Want to hear from you on the phone lines as well. As far as news storylines goes, I mean, we're just looking at some injuries. A little bit, Cowboys banged up somewhat. Obviously, Jonathan Hankins is the bigger one. Of course, he's got a high ankle sprain. Doesn't look like it's going to be severe enough to put him on IR, which is key this week, because if he did go to IR, he could miss 4 games. He missed 4 games, then you could come back for the playoffs. But if it goes into next week and you put him on IR, obviously those 4 weeks would go into like the wild card round or whatever. So I don't think the Cowboys feel like it's that serious. He walked right past us in the locker room. I think I said that Monday. I didn't get the sense that this was a tough injury to come back from. It might be a game or two for Jonathan Hankins. And so good to see a little bit more of Mozzie Smith. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Let's get it started with Michael. He's in Fulton, California. Michael, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Nick? I'm in Colton, California.
Oh, Colton.
Hey, yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, I just want to say I'm really excited about this past week's win. It was a good quality win, but I'm even more excited for this upcoming game against Buffalo. I think, they're a quality opponent, and champions rise to the occasion. And I'm just looking forward to see what we're going to do against a good team. I know they have their struggles, but nevertheless, they're still a good team. And also, I have a question for you.
Okay.
With this upcoming, next year, do you think that we're going to be able to lock up Brandon Cooks or Stephon Gilmore long term, or what do you see happening with their future? Do you think they're going to be in the future plans? And I'm going to go ahead and hang
All
up.
right.
And
good.
You have a good one. Thank you.
Good question. Gilmore and Cooks. Both of them were traded, and you get their contract. I think for this is why the teams trade them. They get a little draft pick right now instead of waiting to them to go to free agency and get the compensatory pick, which will probably be about the same either way. So I think the Cowboys gave fifth and a sixth for both of those guys this year. I think I think you would try. You tried to re-sign them, but you also, you got to understand that they're trying to, get another payday as well. Both of them, same part of their career. I could imagine that the Cowboys would want to bring them back, but I also think that, they're going to have to see how it fares on the open market with them, those guys, anyone else that you need, what they're looking for in the draft, also the development of other players behind them. I think like Jalen Tolbert's, progress will kind of, it'll kind of help the Cowboys steer them into the direction they want to go for that position. So I don't have the answer. That's the thing. I mean, there's still a lot of other factors involved. Would they want them back at a relatively good price? Yes, of course they would. But would they get that good price? And if Gilmore keeps having games like that, maybe it'll be tougher to do that. But I don't think it's a position where the Cowboys will be in need of, a lot of help because they have superstars at both positions. They have, obviously CeeDee Lamb at receiver. They've got Diggs and Bland at corner. So I think it's got to make sense for both sides. I could see them wanting them to come back, but I also could see those guys testing the market as well. All right, let's go to Tim in Grapevine in our next caller. Tim?
Hey, Nick. Happy hump day.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Hey, in a year of great stories from Bland and Ferguson and so on, I mean, we can't become numb to Dak Prescott and what he's doing. I mean, I think we have as a fan base. We're taking it for granted. He's playing elite football, elite quarterbacking, and he's the odds-on favorite to win the MVP. And I'm just wondering, in your experience, I think this was before your time, but I think Emmitt Smith was the only Cowboy to ever win it, right?
MVP, yeah, 93. That's right.
So what do you think that would mean for the team and the organization if he actually wins it? And I'll hang up.
All right. Thanks for the call. What would it mean for the team? I don't mean this in a bad way, but I don't think it would mean anything for the team. I really don't. I think what it would mean think about it like this. He wins MVP, but they lost. They lost in the divisional round. They lost even in the championship, whatever it is. They didn't win. It would be like, that would be good. That would be, it would be a good accomplishment for him. But I think at the end of the day, think about like in March, we talking about Dak winning MVP or the fact that they lost to whoever in the playoffs. Say he doesn't win MVP. Say he wins third or he gets fourth. Say everyone's mad about it. And it fuels him. And they go and he wins and they win the Super Bowl and he didn't win it. They would be talking about that, like, oh, man, he didn't win it, but he showed them at the end, that kind of stuff. So I really think all that stuff sounds great. But, when you talk about Emmitt in 1993, you talk about Emmitt, first two games, he sat out, contract dispute, comes back, leads the league in rushing again. They win the Super Bowl. He's Super Bowl MVP. They win that. There's a little controversy there because maybe people think James Washington should have won it. But either way, I think, not to discredit what an awesome accomplishment it is, but I'm just saying this is something we talk about during the season, but afterwards, I think it still comes down to what he does on the field and that kind of stuff. And it would be great if he could win it, but I still think, that he is going to be judged based off of what what they do on the field. And I know the sports are different, but I'll never forget, I think it was 2007, and this is in the NBA. I remember Dirk Nowitzki winning MVP. NBA MVP, great accomplishment for him. They lost in the first round. They were the number one seed in the West and lost to Golden State in the first round of the playoffs. It was very hollow to be like, here's the MVP trophy. You're out because you got beat by a number 8 team. But you know what I'm saying? So all that stuff sounds good, but I still think you're kind of judged by what you do and don't do on the field. Let me go back to the first question from Michael. He asked about Gilmore and Cooks. Let me just give you a little bit of update on their contract situation. Gilmore is a free agent at the end of this season. Last year of his deal, he's making almost $8 million in base salary this year, and that's kind of why the Colts said, "All right, let's let the Cowboys take that, and we'll take a 5th-round pick and call it a day. And good luck to you." And that's what's happened, and it's been good for I don't know if it's been good for the Colts. I don't even know who they drafted, but I know it's been good for the Cowboys. Not so good for the Eagles the other night. All right, Brandon Cooks. He has one more year left on his deal. His base salary jumps this year from $4 to $8 million next year, so he will count his cap. If all contracts could be this easy, base salary is $8 million. His prorated signing bonus is $2 million. His cap charge is $10 million. 8 plus 2 is 10. I like that. That's good. Easy to figure that out. They could cut him if they want to. They could save. They'd save about $6 million if they cut him before June 1st. They could save $6 million there. So I don't know if they would do that. I think they would probably got to look at Gallup's contract too, see what they do at receiver. But I do think Cooks is a situation that could probably stay for another season. So all right, if we have a Chris, if we have a text message, if we have a phone call, we can go to that. Do we have one? Yes, we do. Dylan, Northport, Florida.
Hey, Nick. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I got just a couple quick things for you, then a question at the end.
Okay.
So this last game here, this is going to be a game, I think, when McCarthy is all said and done, his career is over. I think this last game will be one they point out and on the highlights and talk about forever. You want a mentally and physically tough team. There's nothing like your head coach getting his appendix taken out and he's roaming the sidelines just a couple days later. And you saw that on the field. Defense was super physical. Ferguson's out here stiff-arming dudes, jumping over guys. Like this is a tough team, and I think McCarthy has a lot to do with that.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. I do think that you take on the attitude of your coach in certain cases, and this is one, and I think that they definitely did that.
Yep. And then I've called a bunch, and we talk about the Eagles and some luck they've had and stuff. Dude, this last game, it was crazy how symmetrical it was with the fumbles, the 3 fumbles in the first game, all recovered by Philly, 3 fumbles in this game, all goes to Dallas. And we talked about it before a couple times. It all balances out in the end, and it was really cool to see that kind of take place live exactly the way it should be. So That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then big picture, I just want to shout out again. I've shouted them out before, but again, I'm just thinking Jerry, Steve, and Will, these guys, they caught so much flack during the trade deadline. And could you imagine this team without guys like Aubrey? Like, holy crap, this dude is amazing. Turpin, out of the USFL, Turpin, on the end around, my God, that guy is fast. That was insane. I watched it again. I could see smoke coming off of his feet. He's so fast. And you got Gilmore and Cooks trades in the offseason. Like, the moves they made are so underrated sometimes and easily forgotten, but they've built such a good team kind of unconventionally here, not just through the draft, but finding guys in USFL and some cool trades. So shout out to them. And then I guess my question would be, what's with all the picked up flags this season? There's a ton of picked up flags. Is New York calling and talking to these guys during the
100%.
call, or what's the deal with that?
100%. That's what's happening. Because I actually, thanks for the call, Dylan. I appreciate that. Good stuff as always. Yes, I do think that is happening because there was a point in the game where they had the refs up on the big screen and they were kind of talking. And then all of a sudden, they weren't talking for a second, and the ref put his hand up on his ear to, you could tell, to kind of block out the whatever sound there was, to listen to somebody, and then they came back and he talked. So yeah, I think, I don't know if it was on one of those picked up flags, but it was on a discussion like that. And if they're gonna do that, just be consistent with it and do it. I'm fine with that because they get it right. They get it right and they say, you know what, guys, that wasn't a pick. I know it looks like he was, but the guy's arm was flying up. It wasn't a pick. Or like on the holding penalty, first drive of the game, Cowboys are driving. And one thing that's happening a lot, you see it with these defensive tackles, they're flopping. They got their arms up. They know if they got their arms up, it makes it look like they're getting held. And sometimes that's all that the ref can really see, and they throw it. And I'm totally fine if a guy looks up and says, guys, that wasn't hold. That was not hold. And I'd rather that happen than just say, well, we'll come back on Monday, and then the NFL says, you know what, that wasn't a hold. How many times have you seen that? Maybe in college football when that's your team, and all of a sudden on Monday the commissioner of the SEC or whatever comes out and says, yeah, that should not have been a penalty there, and your team got screwed. Sorry. Good luck next week. So I'd rather than just fix it right then. That's fine with me. If you have a different set of eyes, I could pick that up. It's a little annoying if it keeps happening over and over, but still, I think at the end of the day, you want to get it right. All right, let's go to Reggie in Germany. Reggie.
Hey, Nick, what's good, man?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Happy holidays, early holidays.
All right.
I was able to get back to you. So here's the thing, man. A state that should be getting in contact with you. What about Kansas?
Kansas?
Yeah, I don't think Kansas has hit you up yet.
I feel like we have, but it's borderline. I'd have to go back and for some reason though, when I was looking through it, I thought Kansas was, but maybe not. Maybe not. Do you know someone from Kansas?
As well, I'm not sure, but I thought it feels like Kansas hasn't contacted you.
What was your other state you said?
No, that's the only one.
Okay.
That's the only state. But here's the thing that's been kind of gnawing at me, if I could say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
We've been playing great ball. I'm happy with everything that's happening at the moment. Hope it continues. But one little thing that's kind of attacking me, I had the pleasure of witnessing all of the 5 championships from the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And every Cowboy Super Bowl appearance. Every appearance wasn't a victory. So I've seen them all. And one thing that I've always noticed is that when the Cowboys are really on their game and make it to the Super Bowl or make it a long way in the playoffs, they've got an attitude where they're coming out with a certain amount of swagger and they got their game face on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The players have the game face on. I haven't seen that from the Cowboys at this point. I've seen a little bit of joy in their play, but I haven't seen them really come out with this attitude of, okay, we're in a game, we're going to be in a dogfight, and everything that we do counts from this point on. I wanted to ask you about that. I know you got an encyclopedia mind, and you watch a lot of football. Yeah. What do you feel about that?
You got another question, Reggie? I know you're over in Germany. Is that it?
Partner. I don't want to take up a lot of time.
I really appreciate the call. Thank you for calling in. If they don't have the swag and the attitude on Sunday night against the Eagles, I don't know if they're going to have it. I don't know. This is one of those things: swag, game face, leadership. Communication, that kind of stuff. These are things that are kind of hard to always, put a value on. I mean, how can you tell them? They don't look motivated. They don't play. They don't look intense. It's hard to do that kind of stuff, especially from afar. They seem like whatever game face they had Sunday night, I'm fine with that. That right there, bottle that up, and that's fine. Because let's be honest, they kicked the Eagles' ass. They kicked their ass up and down the field. They knocked them around. They fumbled. They forced the ball. The Eagles weren't just fumbling the football. The first game, they fumbled it 2 or 3 times on the field, and they got it back. And you kind of said, all right, keep doing that. And then I guarantee you won't get it every time. Well, this time, the Cowboys knocked the ball out. They knocked the Eagles on their ass, picked them up, and said, I'll see you in 30 seconds, and I'm going to do it again. And that's what happened. If that's not a game face, I don't know what else you need. Now, are they 20 points better than the Eagles overall? Probably not. They play again in the playoffs, whether it's Dallas or Philly. It'll probably be a pretty close game. I think the two teams are pretty evenly matched. But I like what the Cowboys have done. I like what they do. Think about it. They take care of business at home. Not only that, they're beating everybody by 20 points or more at home. Every game has been 20 or more at home. They're the only team in the NFL that's won every game at home. Now, they obviously have to take care of business on the road, but you can fault them for other little things. Run defense here, penalties there, game face, being ready to play, prepared, and playing with an attitude and swag. I'd give them a check on that one. I think they're doing just fine there. All right. Well, you asked about different states. You said Kansas, I'm not sure of. And I even said to myself, well, what about Kansas City is actually on the border there. It could be Missouri, could be Kansas. We'll find out here in a couple minutes. First, we're going to go to Scott in Wyoming. And if there was a question about Wyoming, it's off the list now. I didn't know if we had one from Wyoming, but we do now. Scott.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Is this your first call?
Yeah, I believe so. And,
there we go.
I'm a historian, among other things, and I just love the NFL history, and especially the Cowboys. Got a chance to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame induction this year, and enjoyed that. But I think your idea about the books on the Cowboys is great. I've got a bunch of them myself, and keep people reading.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, my favorite is Peter Golenbach's book. Cowboys have always been my heroes. talk about in depth.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't have anything in particular.
Okay.
My dad was an Air Force pilot, and we were on Okinawa during the late '60s, and so when we came back in the late '60s, he joined the airlines, and we got sent to New Orleans, and so I was there for when Dallas came in for Super Bowl VI and 12. And so I've had a chance to, and been a fan for a long time.
Who's your favorite player of all time?
Roger Staubach.
All right.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah. In fact, I was a little disappointed. He wasn't at the Hall of Fame this year. I talked to Bob Lilly and said, where's Roger? And he said, I'm not sure. And I was kind of guessing maybe he was with Chuck Howley at the time. That would be the kind of thing he would do, as neat a guy as he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
sure.
the best. He's got when they look at the football life that they do on NFL Network, his is the worst. And I say this because there's nothing. There's no controversy. You don't have anything. You don't have any. Oh, we'll be right back in the break and find out when Rodgers. Nothing. There's not anything. He was just a perfect player and a locker room guy, and everything about him was just awesome.
Well, and they say, and then they say that Tom Brady is the GOAT, and I don't disagree. But in my opinion, Staubach is the best quarterback of all the traits that you look for in a quarterback. He had them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's sad that couple games, those 2 games in Pittsburgh could changed everything. Really did. I mean, it would change. It would change. But that's part of it. That's the thing. Brady had close games too. He had some close games.
Montana never had to play the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, but true. He didn't. All right. Well, Scott, appreciate it. Thanks for the call.
You bet. We'll be again. We'll call again sometime.
Good stuff.
Thank
Wyoming.
you.
We can check that off the list. Another state we can. We've had a caller from. That's great. All right, let's go to Brian in Kansas City. Brian, what's up?
Good morning, sir. I am on the Missouri side.
Missouri side, okay. Missouri is like most of the population of Kansas City is Missouri, right?
Absolutely. It's more like 2/3 to 1/3, but there is a small part that's what we call KCK, Kansas City, Kansas.
Got it. KCK. All right. Who's got the best barbecue? Which side?
Oh, man, it's not even close. We got the best barbecue up here.
Got it. Well, I wasn't sure about how that worked in Kansas City. Like my parents grew up in Texarkana, Arkansas, and Texas. Arkansas side, Texas side. It's split right down the middle. It's pretty intense. I just didn't know if Kansas City was kind of the same way. But I think we've had a caller from Kansas City. From Kansas. I think we have. I have to go back and look. I definitely know we have one from Missouri and you. So Brian, what do you got?
Well, I do go to physical therapy in Kansas, so one of these times I have to call you from over there, that's all.
All right. Sounds good. That'll work.
Hey, so, somebody was saying in the early show that, maybe Dak is not the best cold weather thrower. I don't know if I ever noticed that or even, how many times we've even seen that.
Right.
We play in a dome, lots of other teams play in a dome, so, but, I do think that we seem to have come together with our offensive line. The running game looked much better this last week than what we'd seen in the past. But it's not supposed to be brutally cold this week. It's supposed to be like 40-ish at game time. So I wanted to get your take on that if you had an opinion on that. And then I had an old timer for you if you got a Dexter Coakley story. And I'll hang up and listen, brother. Have a good one.
Thank you. All right, appreciate that. Brian from Kansas City. Cold weather games, I think it's not as easy to throw the football around. Everyone kind of can see that. It's also the receivers, too. It's not just the quarterback. It's the receivers. It's how do they catch the ball. Are they prepared? Are they wearing the right gloves? Are they, are they mentally up for the challenge? All that stuff. Wind. And, I think Troy Aikman wasn't as good in it either, and he's one of the best throwers and most accurate quarterbacks of all time. I mean, it's just sometimes you get to that point in the season where it's just not as easy to throw. And even the guys that were in Buffalo, the Jim Kellys that back in the day and all that, like, I guarantee you look at their stats. I mean, it goes down. It doesn't mean that they can't perform Elway, obviously in Denver, and there's been a ton of them. So that you just don't get the practice. It's the same with driving. You know what I mean? When it starts to snow and get little flurries, people up in the Northeast, they just drive all around, and then schools shut down here. You know what I mean? It's just not what you're used to. So I think they can get the job done. I mean, I remember a game in 2018 against the Giants, last game of the year, where I think Dak's best throw of his career was in that game to Cole Beasley, rolling left, fourth down, throws it to Beasley. Absolutely phenomenal catch in the back of the end zone. That whole game, Dak, I thought, played well, and it was Meadowlands in December or January. At that point, just wind swirling and all that. I thought he did a really nice job in that game, and I think he has his moment. So they're going to have to move the football. We'll find out. I mean, we'll see what happens this year. It doesn't matter what he did 5 years ago. What matters is what they do in this game. Dexter Coakley stories that you said, I think I've said some a little bit on this show before. I mean, I really liked his game. I love the fact that he changed a Hall of Fame coach's perception of him just on his play because Bill Parcells had a stereotype about linebackers. He was like, they'd have to be big guys. I can't have little linebackers. I didn't have them in the Giants, the Jets, the Patriots had these big guys. Pepper Johnson, big, Carl Banks, Harry Carson. He wasn't really a big guy, but still, I mean, in that win, and Dexter Coakley did not fit. But Mike Zimmer and some other coaches said, Coach, just let him play. And he did. And he loved those guys because they were football players. Didn't matter their size; they were football players. And then Dexter Coakley also, I've said this before: you make the right plays at the right time of the season in the right game. That's how you get in the Pro Bowl. And he got a pick six against the Dolphins, 2 interceptions in the '99 Thanksgiving game against the Dolphins on Dan Marino. They beat him 20-0. He had a touchdown, and he also had another interception. And he had the record. He was tied for the record with 4 interceptions for a touchdown in his whole career. And he was tied with Dennis Thurman, and now Deron Bland has beat him in one season with 5. But I guess he would still have the record for most interception returns by a linebacker. It's pretty good. All right, let's go to break here real quick on Cowboys Storyline. Be right back. We got more text questions and calls to get. Be right back.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag & Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag & Turf, the official Ag & Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, back here on Cowboys Storyline. Let's go to a couple of text message questions. We had one from Dan in Philly. I'm sure he had some things to say. He picked a 44-6 score. Said not quite the prediction I had last week, but I'll take it. Eagles fans are correct about one thing: the Cowboys still haven't beat a good team. I love it. Cry, Eagles, cry is what he says. None of my Eagles friends are chirping this week. I bet you they are not. Nick Evans from Blair, South Carolina, his question is, do you think the non-holding calls against Parsons is a legit thing, or is it on par with normal officiating? Well, I mean, you say it all the time that, you can make a holding call in any play. I mean, every single play can have a holding call, and I'm sure Parsons thinks he gets held every time. He's a great pass rusher. He's hard to block, and so he's probably getting held most of the time. It's just whether the refs see it or not. But, yeah, I mean, I bet he does get held just about every snap. That doesn't surprise me at all. And then also Mike from Denver, Colorado. His favorite player, Emmitt Smith. Random Cowboy, Avion Kaysen. Favorite wrestler, Nick the Flea Flicker Eatman. So he's not crazy about wrestling. The Flea Flicker. I could see that. Being a wrestling name. All right, and he asked about the weather. We kind of talked about that real quick. Avion Kaysen, yeah, he was a good running back. I mean, he was quick, shifty running back. I think he scored a long touchdown. He probably was the first guy to score a touchdown in the Bill Parcells era. I think in that first game against Atlanta, he scored. And maybe not the first touchdown, but he did score in that game. All right, let's go to the calls. Isaiah in Jacksonville, Florida. Isaiah.
Good morning, Nick. How you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
And what did I say Friday?
I don't remember.
I said that score was going to be 35-7.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Good
Not
job.
Not bad at all. And I was wanting to talk to you about how you have the 5 plays.
Yeah.
One of the plays you didn't mention was the doctor that got my coach back on the field. You forgot to put the doctor. They got the coach back on the field to call those plays. I got a coach.
Yeah, I got it. That's good. Sometimes I'll do that kind of stuff, on the 5 plays. But I didn't put that one in. But I should have, because you're right. I think it did affect the team. So yeah,
it affected a whole lot.
Good call.
I could not believe that the way they came out on that game, the first drive. I said, whoa, they ready.
Yep.
And my all-time player is the 88 Club.
All of them.
All of the 88 Club.
Let me ask you this: name one player that wore 88 that is not in that club. Can you got anyone else? No Dez, no CD, no Michael Irvin or Pearson. Got anyone else? Any other 88?
No,
nope.
I don't have any other 88.
All right. Those 4 are good enough. They're in the club. They're the leaders of the club for sure.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to say, what is one penalty that they played now that would have won the Cowboys the game in that championship game against 49? It's horse collar.
Passing. Oh, horse collar.
Because he horse collar Drew Pearson.
Oh, in that game. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was gone.
Right.
He caught that pass from Danny White, and he was gone.
That's true.
And another thing, at the Super Bowl, I was at that Super Bowl, and I think James Washington should have won it because I was able to hand his son down there to him because I was next to his wife.
Okay.
She said, you mind handing him down there? I got pictures of it, handing his son down there to him, and he should have won the MVP of the Super Bowl. Because what he did in the Super Bowl, I don't care what nobody say. When he ran that fumble back and did the interception, I said,
Well, he had an interception, he had a forced fumble, and he had a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
And that's why I think he should have gotten it.
I agree with you on that. I will 100% agree with you on that one, Isaiah. Thank you for the call. I'll say this, though, about Emmitt Smith in that game is they tied the game with that right in the third quarter with the fumble recovery. Then they got the ball back. I think it was 8 straight carries to Emmitt. I mean, think about it now. I mean, you don't see running backs do that. 8 in a row. Boom, boom, boom. 6, 11, 4, 3, 17, 4, 7, 9, whatever it was. Touchdown. That right there, that broke their will. I mean, that 100%. And I think Emmitt Smith was worthy of winning the MVP because he had a nice game as well, 2 touchdowns, and he was the guy there that just kind of ran down their throat. But James Washington, though, I mean, he was more impactful for that game than I think Larry Brown was against the Steelers 2 years later. Larry Brown just had those 2 interceptions that were thrown right to him. But I thought James Washington was deserving. But still, got to give it to Emmitt Smith as well, though. Never a bad choice. All right, let's go to Al. He's in Merkel, Texas. Al, what's up? Are you there, Al?
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm here. Hey, Nick.
How's it going?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
Oh, I got 3 comments.
Okay.
That caller earlier got sort of the comment I was going to ask about the 3 flags that were picked up.
Okay.
And it's ironic how, I don't know if it's a coincidence or what, but we were talking about that referee that, had refereed so many Philadelphia games.
Oh, yeah.
The call went for Philadelphia. And I just thought it was ironic. Now, I was at the game Sunday, and I saw one of those flags thrown, and I thought it was a legitimate pick against us.
For a touchdown?
And they picked it up. So I'm like, all those plays are picks. They're not rubs. They're picks. Let's be,
100%. You're right about that. Now, it's just. Do you go up there with your hands up like you're about to get the ball, or do you go like you're Karl Malone and you're just at your hands like if you set a pick like that, like AJ Brown did, then they're going to call it. But CD kind of got his hands like, oh, I'm trying to catch it here, and bumps the guy.
Right.
You got to be good at it. You got to be a good actor.
Yeah, you go to every game, and the second question was, how loud was the stadium in comparison to games past?
Yeah, really loud. Really loud. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. This was my first game this year, but I went to a game last year, and it seemed like it was really louder this year. And y'all had somebody on one of your shows made the comments that the home crowd is really showing up and being loud.
Yeah.
I think it was Broadus.
It's been a big difference. Who was the team that you saw last year? Do you remember?
No, I don't. I know it was
That's okay, but if it wasn't Philly,
we won. I mean,
if it wasn't Philly, then then it probably wasn't as loud. I mean, that's the thing. That's part of this thing. Is Philly goes, they got their fans. They're probably obnoxious. They're ready to go. I mean, they're pumped, excited. I mean, the game just meant so much. You got all day.
They were all over the place. I saw them, like I said, that ugly green color all over the place. But it was funny at halfway through the fourth quarter, they all started filing out.
Yeah, well, it happens. It happens like that. I mean, they got beat down.
Right. Hey, and I have one more. This is a comment, and it's probably not very popular, but and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but how come nobody ever mentions that New England got caught getting the hands up or, I mean, for the lack of a better word, cheating 3 times in their Super Bowls?
I mean,
everybody mentions when the Astros got caught cheating and winning the World Series, but you don't hear that. I mean, nobody ever mentions it. Deflategate, when they got caught filming the Rams.
Yeah. You're right. It's been 20 years. And I think it's good. That's a very good point because of the Astros did, they get caught cheating and all that, and then they won afterwards, right? They did win it last year, so I think that helps is winning without any controversy. I mean, if that was your only win and that's what happened, then if you win again and it's like, well, you had the deflate gate, you had the you're trying to get an edge. They're really good. I don't have a great answer for you. I really don't. I think it helps to have success in other forms, which the Astros did. They did win last year on top of that. So on the scandal, still didn't seem to help though. It didn't seem to go away. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why. I know in baseball though, they care a lot more about that. About the history of the game and all that with the steroid era and stuff like that. There's some people that just don't ever acknowledge Barry Bonds as the home run leader and all that. Don't get me started on that because I think he is. But anyways, I don't care about that. Good question. Good question about that. and I'm sure over time it did. It was a big deal. It's kind of gone away, though, when they win another Super Bowl and then another one and then another one. And you're like, well, okay, they're really good over there in New England, regardless of what's happening. All right, Michael is our next caller. He's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. What's up, Michael?
Amazon is dragging their feet. I haven't got your book yet, but
oh no,
not yet. I figured it'd be here by now.
I wonder if maybe this time of year with the mail, some people like to do online shopping, and might get caught up in some of those packages and all that. Could happen, maybe.
Yeah. What's funny is the center is coming from is in Odessa, Texas.
Oh, cool.
But I haven't heard the whole show today, so I don't know if anybody mentioned this, but did you see or hear Cam Newton's comments about Dak? And
no.
So, what did you think?
What did he say? I don't know.
He named about 3 or 4 quarterbacks, Dak included, were system quarterbacks and didn't affect the outcome of the game. He was on some show yesterday.
How did he play last week? How did Cam play last week? I don't remember seeing his stats. Did he play well?
Cam Newton?
Yeah. Or is he out of the league?
Oh, he's out of the league, I think. I think he is.
Yeah, I think he is too. Interesting. I mean, from a running back that played quarterback his whole career, I mean, to call someone a system quarterback like that's kind of ironic. But you know what? It happens like that. See, that's the thing. You kind of think he's out of the league. Is he? Is he not? Is he with the team? No one knows. Former players that make outlandish comments like that people like you repeat and throw out there, that's what they want. Because it's like, no one's talking about me anymore. I won a Heisman. I was this. I was Superman. I was all this. I was in the Super Bowl. Now you're out of the league. No one talks about you anymore. And so when you get on a podcast or you get on a platform, whatever, you throw out some stuff like that. Oh boy, Cam Newton's coming in hot take for Cam Newton. Oh, maybe I can get a job here. Maybe I can go and do this and be there. I mean, that happens. I don't know what he said. I don't know where he said it. Who cares? I mean, but that's my point is that I think a lot of former players kind of do that so they can show that, hey, put a microphone in front of me. You never know what you're going to get. And it happens. It's all good. But, whatever it is, who cares? Michael Jordan was a system basketball player. Played in that system, that triangle system with Phil Jackson. Pretty good system. So who cares? Who cares what it is? If he's a system quarterback, that's fine. I don't know. He's playing better in this system than he ever has before. So who cares? As long as he plays well. Tom Brady was really good in the Bill Belichick system, but he was good in other teams as well with the Bucs. I mean, it happens. I don't know if that really matters. I didn't hear all things Cam Newton said. Maybe there's more to it than that. Maybe I'm jumping the gun on a hot take or whatever. I'm just saying sometimes I don't really get involved in what former players say because, I think a lot of it is an agenda as well. So that's what he thinks. That's what he thinks. Like I said several times before, your opinion isn't wrong. His opinion isn't wrong. It's what he thinks. It's all good. What I think is Dak Prescott's playing his best football right now in this system, which means this system I think is pretty good too. All right, great show. Appreciate all the calls. Chris Beam running the board back there. Thank you to him. We will be back tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about Cowboys and Bills. We'll see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See you.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?